All right. Hello, my name is Stephanie. And if you like the paranormal and strange and pop culture, you come to the right place. So, today we'll be talking about a very interesting topic that is actually very old because I'm going to go down the rabbit hole with this. Um, but it's been definitely, talked about in media and movies, and even celebrities are claiming to have had sex with ghosts. But anyway, so we'll be obviously touching base on celebrity claiming to have sex with ghosts. We'll be touching base on references to the S.E.X. with entities in old folklore origins like succubus and incubus. I'll also bring up non-celebrities too, and the virality of people who have gone viral talking about these topics. Um, so yeah, let's jump right into this, you guys. By the way, I have tried to make content on this on other social media platforms, and for whatever reason, it doesn't do very well. So if this episode is just a flop, I'll know that you guys are just not interested in the S.E.X. with the undead, doing the deed with the undead. I'll know. I'll get the hint. Jeez. Even though I find it fascinating, and I need to remind myself, just because I find something fascinating doesn't mean other people find it fascinating. Um, but anyway, let's get into it. All right, the origins. Okay, so stories of the succubus and incubus. People definitely point out that this is one and the same. Basically, they terrorize people in the middle of the night, and this has existed long as far back as medieval and biblical times, even Mesopotamia 2400 BC. These creatures are thought to be demon who could seduce men and women in their dreams. Though the names would change in medieval times to succubus. And by the way, the definition, you guys, very, well, how do I put it? Vanilla. So succubus means to lie beneath in Latin, and incubus is to lie on top. You guys, think about this for a second. Very, very vanilla. Okay. So without moving on, these demon-like creatures would come out at night and sexually attack men and women. The succubus would do this to men and get the sperm and then impregnate the woman to create a companion and spread their kind to humans. This also notes that they would drain energy, blood from its victims, and so on. There is a clip here. So I kind of quoted this one segment from this website, which I'll add in the notes. And if I forgot to do that, I'll probably put it on my Instagram, one or the other. So, keep an eye out for that. But they referenced Ghostly Encounters TV show, which I find super fascinating. This woman talks about her experiences with it. But now, segueing aside from that, while these things are demonized and seen as bad, are these encounters all that bad? I mean, think about it. Medieval times is a time where people do not want to hear about your sexual liberation or expression. I mean, we needed like a Madonna in that age. I don't know if we had with a Madonna back there or back then. I have to look into that. Anyway, like a Madonna or like a Cher or like a Britney Spears, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think those were popping off and popular back then, or am I wrong about that? I don't know. Okay. So part of me feels like this could be a controlling factor of the medieval times, like I was saying, imposed on the media, villainizing these spirits. I've been on Witch Talk and I've heard several interesting conversations on demons and how demons are not evil in the context that you would think. I think that if you are basically associating yourself with Abrahamic religions, then yes, demons are awful and bad. Now, I'm not saying you should believe one or the other. I'm just talking about what I've heard and I'm trying to be open with those resources. Okay. So I'm just trying to play devil's advocate in a sense of like, Are these encounters bad in terms of like the times where people did not want to express themselves in that way? Or are they bad because of religious times? But then also, if you have different religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs, demons are not bad. They're just chaotic earth energy, as some would say. But anyway, that's for you to find out and put together, like I was saying. So, aside from a long history of sexual endeavors and dreaming of these things, um, some people believe that this is just a what you would call a fetish or you would call a hallucination. So there is a woman who her name is Amanda Large Teague who met a ghost of a 300-year-old Haitian pirate who claims was the inspiration of Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Now, let's pause here because I feel like Johnny Depp in the Pirates of the Caribbean era, oh my God, chef's kiss. He is so good looking. Oh my God. I remember when I was in middle school, I had a t-shirt of Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, and I was like so madly in love with him. But in reality, I grew up and I realized like that is not, that is not partnership qualities. That's just superficial fantasy, La La Land, and I'm so glad 12-year-old Steffany got over that phase. So, anyway, now I'm going to read off the Washington Post on this one, okay? So, 2 weeks after she married Jack, Teague said she encountered serious health problems and became convinced her husband was causing her ailments. Teague said she asked Jack to leave, but he told her he would kill her if she tried to escape him. She cut ties with Jack anyway, and in December went through a soul extraction, similar to an exorcism. And it was performed by a self-described shaman. Eventually, Teague said Jack left and her health dramatically improved. Now, this sounds to me like a form of an incubus, right? Like based on what we just covered. Because before I even thought about an incubus or a succubus, yeah, I would definitely think this is just, you know, she had a fetish for spirits. She, was having sex with ghosts, whatever, right? But now that I'm like learning about this incubus and succubus thing, I'm like, oh, is this like a modern day tale of Incubus and Succubus? I mean, am I saying this is reality? Am I saying this is fact? Of course not. I'm just saying that this sounds very much like a very old folklore and demon that people have referenced for thousands of years. How is that? That's kind of weird, right? I don't know. Okay. So anyway, there's also another woman who also was posted on a lot of news outlets. TimeNowNews.com, I'll read it from here. It says, a woman in the United Kingdom has claimed to have gotten engaged to a ghost. Amethyst Realm shocked everyone when she said she had sex with at least 20 ghosts. Realm had revealed last December on a British television show that she had slept with a ghost without the knowledge of her fiance. Dun dun dun. I added that dun dun dun. It was not on the article. And since that encounter, she has slept with at least 20 paranormal beings. So I'll post this also on my Instagram for your guys's amusement on this. So now that we talked about, succubus, incubus, and a little bit of some people that went viral with this, let's talk about the definition of the fetish. So it's called spectrophilia. It is a fetish that is classified as paraphilia, in which one is attracted to ghosts or spirits. It is also used to refer to, you know, incidents of sexual attractions between ghosts and spirits overall, I would say. Um, Now, I do recall reading on an article that I could not find, but if I do find it, I'll probably post it somewhere. And it was a group of paranormal investigators, and they said that this doesn't happen as often as one would think. Okay. Okay. But now then we get into this whole part of like, what does the scientific community believe? Well, they believe that there are three contributing factors, which is definitely your sleep, and having hypnotic hallucinations or sleep paralysis. Now, what I find interesting about that is the sleep paralysis part, because I feel like so many of us who have had experiences with sleep paralysis, experience it with shadow people or the Hat Man. So I'm actually more curious if you are someone watching right now, or not watching, listening to me right now, um, definitely send me an email. I will post my email on all the descriptions about like, have you ever had sleep paralysis and like the hallucination of something other than shadow people or the Hat Man? I only call them hallucinations because that's what the scientific community believes that it is. While I do understand that people in the spiritual community believe that sleep paralysis is more than just that. So just keep that in mind, just trying to be respectful of both sides of the coin here. So I definitely want you guys to please write to me. I'm very curious when I've experienced my sleep paralysis, it's never been pleasant. So these people that are having these getting it on in their sleep paralysis, I don't know about you guys, but you guys seem pretty rare and I want to know if you guys exist. So please write to me. I will definitely try to add it to any following podcast episodes in the future because we need that, you know what I mean? um Now, I think that there are some other unusual cases of people experiencing this type of stuff, but I don't want to get too much into it because I really wanted to focus more so on the celebrities who have had sex with ghosts or have dealt with an incubus or a succubus. That's for you to decide, okay? Like I said. So when I think of sex with ghosts, I'm going to reference this article from Bustle. And basically, there are a few movies that I was like, oh my God, I forgot about this. And then there were some movies that I was like, yes, I remember that. So as we're getting closer to the spooky season, I mean, some of you guys have been saying August 1st is already Halloween season, but that's a controversial thing that you'll have to convince me on. I'm kind of convinced, but you'll have to convince me regardless. Send me an email. Give me your list of things why it's Halloween on August 1st. Okay, so yeah, let's start into some of the movies, okay? Okay, first of all, Casper. Yes, remember Casper? I do. I remember I had when I was like, I don't even know, 6, 7. I have a picture too somewhere. But anyway, I had a glow in the dark Casper sweater. And I remember that at the very end of the movie, spoiler alert, they reveal Casper in human form. And I was like, oh my God, he is so cute. What? What? Why can't he look like this in his ghost self? Why does he look like a potato? But it's fine. He's supposed to be friendly, right? Okay, whatever. Okay. So then the article references the movie Ghost, and which I don't think I ever saw that movie. So I guess I need to add that to my list of things to watch. And then Charmed had an episode too. Well, actually, no, because basically Leo became really close to Phoebe. Okay, not Phoebe, but Piper. Okay. Oh my God, I keep messing this up. And he was her white lighter. I kind of understood this as like a type of guardian angel or something, like type of spirit. Um, but yeah, there's that. Now, the other thing that we kind of saw, speaking of non just traditional spirit and entities relationship, there's also the infamous in Jennifer's Body, though, we do recall seeing Megan Fox portray a succubus and all the things that she does. So, I mean, we do see one version of this in the media, but mostly, again, it's just spirits and celebrity spirits and characters. But anyway, let's transition to this. Actresses and actors. There's only like one actor on here that has done the deed with the undead. Okay, so the first one on this list was Lucy Liu. She basically said, and she's known, if you don't know who she is, like you guys need to check in on her. So I remember her from Charlie's Angel, and I believe she was on Kill Bill. I have her stuff here. I definitely was ahead of myself and was like, what movies has she been in? Because I do know, but I just like don't want to be like, oh yeah, this. And then she's like not in that at all. Um, okay. So then Kill Bill. Exactly. Kill Bill. She was on Kill Bill. I definitely was like, oh yes, she is on Kill Bill. Loved it. I love that film, honestly. I feel like I need to watch that too. See, like now that I'm talking about this, I'm like, these are things to add onto my watch list. Okay. So basically, she was saying that she told US Weekly in 1999 that she had a sexual encounter with a ghost while trying to nap on her futon. Okay, so this is what she said. She said, some sort of spirit came down from God, knows where, and made love to me, said the actress. Um, and then she said, it was sheer bliss. I felt everything. I climaxed, and then he floated away. It was almost like what might have happened to Mary. That's how I felt. Something came down and touched me, and now it watches over me. Interesting. I feel like there's more questions to be had with this, because yeah, again, she felt everything, the whole shebang. So, like, that's again my question with this, right? If you're experiencing a form of sleep paralysis, I guess it's a stupid question. This might be a stupid question, but like, so you can feel things, right? Like, I guess you can because when people talk about it, they experience fear, they experience being choked, they experience all these things and these hallucinations, quote unquote, as skeptics like to say that people experience. So there's that. Now the second person is Anna Nicole Smith. She said in 2004, um, she told Men's Magazine, FHM, that she had repeatedly hooked up with a ghost. And if you don't know who she is, she's kind of like a reality TV star-ish. I remember her being on a lot of tabloids. I remember a lot of people talking about her. And of course, this is like in 2004. This is like a time where, like I referenced in my last podcast episode about Britney Spears, where it's like people are just being so prude and prude about women and sexual liberation. So I'm not surprised that people were saying some awful things. But anyway, so she said a ghost would crawl up my leg and have sex with me at an apartment a long time ago in Texas. I used to think it was my boyfriend. And one day I woke up and it wasn't. It was like a spirit. And it, woo, mimicking a ghost flying from her bed sheets, went up. I was freaked out about it. But then I was like, well, you know what? He's never hurt me. And he just gave me some amazing sex. So I have no problem. And after that, the interviewer wondered if it could have just been a dream, like I was saying earlier in this podcast. People believe that this could be hallucinations. But then she said, Anna Nicole Smith was like, no, quote unquote, or quote, it was not a dream because it was happening every night. And I told my boyfriend, and he didn't believe me. Of course, men, quote, end quote. So that's interesting, right? I think, okay, so here's my thing. Not that it matters because I try to be open-minded with everyone's experience, but Anna Nicole Smith, sometimes I feel like she said some crazy, outrageous things for shock value. Now, she could be truthful about this. That's very just out there for me. And I feel like she does a lot of things for shock. She did a lot of things for shock factor. So this to me might be one of those things where I would easily believe that she's just saying it to say it, I guess. But at the same time, like, if she was protesting it, that might be her truth as well. Who knows? Now, the next person on the list, I'm so not surprised. As a matter of fact, I would love to talk to this person. I would love to sit down with him and, just do a little podcast, do a little TikTok or something and be like, you know what? Please just give me all the details. I know you said it online. I know I can read about it. I want to hear it from you. I really want to hear it from you. So anyway, with all due respect, let's get on with this. The person I'm talking about is Dan Aykroyd. So he is obviously a comedy legend. I definitely know him from like Ghostbusters. He was definitely someone that was on so many things in the 90s and so on and 80s. I think 80s. Don't quote me on that. I don't even have I have IMDb up. I could definitely look this up, but I'm not going to I'm not going to waste a lot of time with that. Okay. So anyway, so he basically would, and it's interesting because out of most people on this list, he's the only guy at that too. So he basically said that he engaged in some light foreplay with, you know, with the dead. So kind of, I don't know, you guys. I'm kind of chuckling at this. So anyway, he basically admitted to receiving a blowjob in 2010 in a blog post for the Huffington Post. What the heck? The Huffington Post. So Aykroyd admitted that he felt an unseen presence in his bed. And he quotes, in my bed, no less when we lived in Mama Cass' Hollywood estate. And in 2013, he followed up with Esquire, and he basically said that he cuddled with a male ghost. And then he was thinking to himself, quote, I'm just going to roll over and snuggle up next to it, end quote. So, you know what? He he loves everyone, okay? The dead, whether it's cuddling or the BJs, whatever. I guess I just want to like, this GIF on here is making me laugh too. I'm just like, what? Okay. So the next person that I want to mention, I'm not going to mention almost everyone on this list because to me, I'm like, I haven't heard about them in a while. So I'm just going to post people that I feel like I enjoy, but you definitely can read about this on the Bustle article. So the next person is Kesha. Kesha, you know what? She recently has her show. She has a show now on the Travel Channel. I saw it being promoted all over TikTok. I see little snippets on the Travel Channel, and I need to watch this. And if you have watched this, write to me and let me know what you think of this because I definitely want to dive into it. I've just been so busy that I haven't had time to catch up on a lot of TV shows, sadly, as I would like. But anyway, so Kesha, we already know her. She, with her music, and of course, now being on the Travel Channel. But apparently, she claimed in 2012, during an appearance on the Ryan Seacrest radio show, that her supernatural song was inspired by having sex with a ghost. Kesha further went on to say that, or actually followed up during an appearance on the Conan that same year, saying that she definitely did it with a ghost. And then she also went on the Jimmy Kimmel live show and also talked about it too. So I'm going to post her video stuff also on my Instagram so you guys can reference that. And she was, when I remember watching the interview, she was just so like, I loved it. She owned it. She was nonchalant. She was just like, yeah, I had sex with a ghost. It just happened. And people are just like so shooken up by that. I mean, I understand. I totally understand. But I don't, she doesn't recall it being a bad experience from what I gathered from any of this. So, could it be a succubus or incubus, whatever? Or could it be a ghost? I actually think in this case, it could just be a ghost. Okay. So, this one I think actually could be the incubus. Okay. So this is Coco Austin, and she just definitely reported it not being as fun. Um, so in 2012, she talked about this, and I believe I'm not sure if she currently is, but she was known as Ice-T's partner. But she claimed on the talk show Naughty But Nice that a perverted ghost had groped her. She said, quote, I was watching TV and I was wearing a nightie and I felt my dress move up my leg. I looked down and got freaked out. I pushed it down, watched TV, and felt it again. I could see it being pulled up, and then I felt a guy breathing in my ear. Now, Coco Austin claimed that the ghosts haven't bothered her since her marriage to Ice-T. Um, so I don't know what that meant. But in general, she was just saying it was not fun for her. That's how they wrote it as that. And I believe that just wraps up everything that I got for now on this list that I feel like is worth mentioning. If you guys have any other actresses or actors that were not on this list that you would love for me to point out in a follow-up episode, let me know. I would love to include them. But overall, I think that this is a very interesting list. I feel like whether you see it in movies or you hear people online talk about it, just know that the idea of people and entities or ghosts being intimate is definitely not a new thing. And it's something to be aware about because we don't think of like the terminology of a succubus or an incubus, and we don't think about the origins of this stuff. And I think it's just worth bringing up because it's so fascinating how things can evolve the same way that like when we talk about other things like vampires or werewolves, especially vampires is an interesting one because we think about the Bram Stoker book and we think about like not Valad, what am I talking about? We think of Valad the Impaler in Romania and all that jazz. Now we hear terminologies of like, people that drain your energy. Those are energy vampires. So there's like so many different terminologies of things and how it shifts, right? People even went as far as to talk about how certain cryptids, like the chupacabra, is a type of vampire, which I find that like very fascinating. So in general, like when we think of different entities like vampires, it shifts, right? But then when we think about like sex with ghosts, we don't think about like, is there an actual folklore origin tied to it? And there is. It's an incubus or a succubus, and now you know. And now you know that movies have referenced it. And it's an interesting phenomenon that not many people, I would say, put a lot of attention to because I don't think it's as popular, but it's still worth shining a light on it in this paranormal, supernatural, and strange space. So that's all I have for now. Thank you guys. If you guys made it to the very end, thank you guys for tuning in and sticking by me. Till next time, please write to me with any recommendations or check out my Instagram with all these images. I will talk to you guys next week.